Well, the weekend is coming to a close, but that doesn't stop here. So today's episode is going to be a real fun one. If you're a big fan of the Japanese wrestling scene, well, you're just in luck. This is the channel we're definitely going to be doing that. For today, we're going to be reviewing, of course, Pro Wrestling No with Sunny Voyage Day 23. We're just coming off from N1 victory, and of course, anything could happen afterwards. As you know, we have a N1 victory winner, and that is none other than Go Shiozaki. However, will he be the one to dethrone the unstoppable Jake Lee? Well, we'll find out when we get to September 24th. And of course, we move on with Stardom with Dream Tag Festival, where of course the fans voted who each of their favorite wrestlers would like to see them team up with. They're from different units, but how will they actually, how do I say this, coexist or work together? Well, we'll find out soon enough. And of course, we have more with New Japan Pro Wrestling with Day 3 of Road to Destruction. Keep in mind, we're also going to be heading to Destruction on that day on the 24th of September in Kobe. But also, we have some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who is booked, what matches are set, any wrestlers that are injured, any wrestlers that have been either signed or left their promotions, the whole enchilada. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, welcome. If you are new to the channel, this is where we throw in a lot of reviews from your various favorites promotions. So if you like what you see, whatever promotion you like, please subscribe to us. We'll be throwing a lot of daily reviews from your very favorite promotion whenever we want to. And of course, we have some other things such as the Unagi Sayaka watch, discussions, and some news updates to tell about that as well. If you also like this episode, please click like on the like button, and of course, give us a nice comment down below. Now, our very first review we're going to be talking about is from Pro Wrestling Noah Sunny Voyage. This just recently took place on the 9th of September, this past Saturday. Now, this is 1 week coming off from the N1 Victory Finals. Now, as I mentioned before, Go Shiozaki is the winner of the N1 Victory. However, will he be the one to dethrone Jake Lee? Since Jake Lee's arrival, he has become unstoppable. But in a matter of short time, he was able to, of course, to win the GHC Heavyweight Championship, form his own faction. But he has grown undefeated, never losing the title. But he also grew some undefeated streak during the N1 victory. But however, can Go Shiozaki be the one to pull it off? Well, we'll find out till we get there, because they will collide at our main event in a tag match. Now, our opening match, we have tag team action. We have Yu Owada and Taishi Azawa taking on members of Just Good Looking Guys, GLG, Tadasuke and Yohei. Now, as you know, Owada and Ozawa, in fact, are the young boys of Pro Wrestling Noah. However, they have gained a bit of the attention from many fans just by watching them. But however, in the end of this match, it was Tadasuke who picked up the win by applying a brainbuster on Ozawa. And 1, 2, 3, it is over. Just like that. Next up, we have another tag team action, and we have Hiroki and Atsushi Kotoge taking on Mohamed Yone and Adam Brooks. Now, this is a very interesting dynamic match. Now, Hiroki and Kotoge are in fact junior heavyweight competitors. Their opponents, on the other hand, Adam Brooks and Yone, are heavyweights. So let's see how this one will be. However, I have to say there was some good cohesion between both Hiroki and Kotoge. But however, the ability between what Adam Brooks can do. I mean, ever since his first appeared in Noah, has been proving differently. He was able to pick up the win when he applied a sort of a similarity to the into the Bevelin, aka the Trash Panda, onto I think Hiroki, yeah, Hiroki, and just like that, he picked up the win. 1, 2, 3, it's over, just like that. Next up, we got six-man tag team action. We have Akai Fujimura, Junta Miyawaki, and Hajime Ohara. They take on Leona and the members of Stinger, Yoshinari Ogawa and Daga. So I have to say this is going to be interesting because the opposing team, Fujiura, Miyawaki, and of course Ohara, they were once part of the no wait a minute, Miyawaki and Ohara were part of the Noah Juniors. But however, now they're facing against a team that are far more superior to them. But of course, it was Leona who picked up the win by applying a Texas clover leaf onto who did he put it onto? Onto Fujimura to pick up the win. So they walked away with the win by submission. Next up, we have singles action. Anthony Green versus Saxon Huxley. Now, I don't know if this is a revenge type of match. Now, keep in mind, during the N1 Victory Finals, Anthony Green, along with Jake Lee and of course, who was it again? Oh yeah, Jack Morris. They were in a match against Real, consistent of Saxon Huxley, Timothy Thatcher, and I forgot who else was in that group with them. I think Suzuki. Yeah, Suzuki was Hideki Suzuki was in that match too. However, it was Anthony Green who picked up the win by pinning Saxon Huxley and automatically could give up opportunity for them to challenge for the GHC heavyweight tag team titles. However, I think this is much of a revenge match for Huxley in order to make up for losing that match, knowing that Anthony Green pinned him and the potential possibilities of getting a title shot. However, I have to say Anthony Green did put up a good fight, but Saxon Huxley, who's been much of a beast, has proven otherwise, was able to put him away by applying a sitting down power bomb. 1, 2, 3, just like that. It was over right from there. Next up, a very interesting dynamic duo we have been seeing out on loan from New Japan and now with Noah. Rohi Oiwa once again teaming up with the Supernova Kato Kiyomiya. They take on Real's Shuhei Taniguchi and Timothy Thatcher. This is going to be a very good, how do I say, way for Oiwa to be involved, because if these Real are much of the kind of like the technical wrestlers aspect, if you've seen them, I have to say it was a pretty good match to see. However, it was Kato Miya with the Shining Wizard that put away, I think it was Taniguchi, and just like that, it was over from there. 1, 2, 3, Kiyomiya and Oiwa picked up the win. Now, our next match, we have a 6-man tag match. We have Stallion Rogers, Lance Inoue, and Keno. They take on Daiki Inaba, Masa Kitamiya, and Manabu Soya. Now, interesting factor of this match: Keno, Kiyomiya, and Manabu Soya. They were once members of the faction known as Congo, but during the time, we do know Misa Kiyomiya turned his back on them by attacking Nakajima, and then of course Keno made the last drastic decision to disband the unit. And I think Manabu Soya holds resentment for Keno for dismantling the unit, and I think there was no love lost between them, but you can tell he wants to rip or tear to shreds on Keno, and Keno knows it. He can sense Manabu's frustrations towards him, so that wouldn't make sense. But however, it was Manabu Soya with the jumping DDT onto Stallion Rogers, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Just like that. Next up, we have a junior heavyweight match here. We have Seki Yoshioka and Shuji Kondo taking on Eita and Hayata. Now, I didn't know what to expect on this match, but I'll give you guys the quick runaround. It was Yoshioka with the crash suplex onto Hayata to pick up the win. However, if you guys know this, the rule of thumb, if you pick up a win against a champion, you get a title opportunity. Hayata, in the other hand, is the current GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion. But in no time, Yoshioka decided to issue the challenge for the title. So I kind of figured this was going to go down. I wouldn't be surprised if this match will take place on the 24th as well. So we'll see how that rolls up from there. Now, next up, we have six-man tag action. We have Psycho Clown teaming up with Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf. They take on Alejandro, Ninja Mac, and Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. Now, if you guys remember what happened at the N1 Victory Finals, Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. was in a match with Lance Noy and picking up the win. All of a sudden, the ghost of Christmas past for him has showed his real ugly face. We're talking about Psycho Clown. Now, let me give you guys a quick recap what I'm referring to. Many years ago, during the time, Psycho Clown was one of the rising stars of AAA. However, Dr. Wagner, Dr. Wagner Jr.'s father, was not going to tolerate a guy like Psycho Clown try to get to the top spot. However, they've been feuding back and forth, and of course, Psycho Clown did ended up in the match against Dr. Wagner, resulting mask versus mask, and of course Dr. Wagner losing the mask, but it was his son, Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., who was not too happy or pleased with the results of the match. He was not able to forget about it or anything else. However, it's now no secret that the reasons he came back is not only because he felt, hey, I took your father's mask, now I'm going to take away what's important to you, the GHC National Championship. So now he's gunning for that title. But however, this is a bit of a preview before that. But I have to say, seeing Dr. Wagner, who has grown popularity in Japan, has always been one of the fan favorites. But now, Psycho Clown seems that he's getting the momentum, the fans to embrace him. But the real question is, which one of these two is? Can history repeat itself again? Will Psycho Clown do the one thing he did exactly to Hijo Dr. Wagner's father? That's what we'll find out. But however, it was of course Psycho Clown with a Spanish fly onto Hijo Dr. Wagner to pick up the win. So the honest thing is, Hijo Dr. Wagner needs to be more concerned now that his rival is now going to take everything from him. Now our main event features Axis, Go Shiozaki, and Natsuhiko Nakajima taking on GLG, good-looking guys, with Jack Morris and Jake Lee. Now, as I said before, Go Shiozaki is the winner of the N1 Victory, and he challenges Jake Lee on the 24th. However, this match, I figured this is going to be a brutal match in every way possible. But however, Jake Lee, who has proven how unstoppable he is, he applied a big boot on Shiozaki, winning the match. But the obvious thing now is now saying, will Go Shiozaki be able to dethrone what's his name? Jake Lee? That is something we will see down the line when we get to the 24th. But for now, we'll just leave things as it is at the moment. So let's move on with our next review, and that is Stardom Dream Tag Festival. Okay, Stardom Dream Tag Festival 2023. This just recently happened. Now, those who are familiarized about the show, let me explain it. People like to call this Dream Tag a Dream Tag team. We have seen those before. However, in Stardom's case, they decided to let the fans decide who would they like to see team up. I have to say there were some very interesting combinations on this one. Now, I'll explain to everybody the details. Why was this team chosen during each of the matches as we go? Now, our first match, we have Natsupoi and Sayori Onoi. Now, during the press conference, Natsupoi and Sayori Onoi, they don't consider themselves a dream tag team. They just, as you know, they are the current goddesses of Stardom tag team. They are the champions. So why would they be lumped in there? I don't know. But over time, we know that their history leads them to, they've always been rivals, but at the same time, they've always been friends. So that would make sense. Now, this next team who were they facing is a bit of a showdown in some capacity. Now, it's the team of Mina Shirakawa and Tam Nakano. Now, we all know the history of Tam Nakano and Mina Shirakawa. You all know, if those who know me pretty well, I'm a big fan of the Cosmic Angels, and of course, let me explain to you guys. This particular team was set upon after originally it was supposed to be Mina Shirakawa and Sayaka Mitani, which was the actual vote from the fans. But however, due to the circumstances that happened in day one of the 5-star Grand Prix, Kamitani was injured, and it was later announced that she was going to be out throughout the entirety of the 5-star Grand Prix, or possibility the rest of 2023. Tam Nakano was in fact put into this mess. Tam, on the other hand, as you know, has been trying to get Mina back into the fold, but Mina has one goal in mind, and that goal is to dethrone Tam's red belt. But however, nonetheless, they did work together in this match. I mean, look, it's to expected between both teams that something like this was going to happen. I mean, look, Onoi and Natsupo are all good friends with Tam, but they know they can't hold back due to their friendship. But as the teamwork with Mina and Tam, that's a completely different story. If you guys remember from their history, they were known as Dream H, but they never had that successful tag team status that, of course, Tam had with Natsupoi. But however, this was a very unusual thing. But it was Tam who pinned Natsupo with the Andromeda instead of using the usual Northern Light Cross or the Tiger Suplex or the Twilight Dream, which of course Natsupo is well aware. She tried the method where she cannot see it. However, during the post-match, Tam has been trying to say, how about Club Venus and Cosmic Angels have an alliance? However, of course, Mina would have glad to accept it, but however, as I said before, her goal is to take off the red belt off from Tam Nakano. But right now, as you know, Tam has one match in particular she has to face, and that is Natsuko Tora on the 9th. But of course, there's Suzuki. From what I heard, I haven't seen the last 5-star Grand Prix event. Suzuki pinned Tam Nakano, which automatically would give her an opportunity of the red belt if Tam survives Natsuko Tora. So we'll see how that rolls up. Now, before our next match, we had a surprise appearance from the Pirate Princess, Kairi. Now, we all know what's been going on with Kairi. I've been reporting about this. I just recently reviewed her recent match from the day before, from 2 days before, where she teamed up with Sayori Onoi in a tag match. However, Kairi came by, thanking the fans about since her return, and of course, her last match she wants to have is in Stardom, but she wanted to face wrestlers who are homegrowns. Now, I know some of you probably been dreaming. I want to see Kairi versus Julia. Sorry, guys, it's not going to happen. But you got to remember, Julia also has a hectic schedule for being the New Japan Strong Women's champion. But Kairi says she wants a homegrown wrestler. Now, this is a very unusual thing for me to say this. I was hoping that she would have a match against Hanan. Now, some of you probably asked me, why would I think of that? Simple. It was Kairi who endorsed Hana and her sisters to join Stardom. That's what I would think about it as a way, but it did not happen. But all of a sudden, she had a surprise appearance from 3 homegrown Stardom wrestlers, Azuki, Koguma, and of course, Saya Ida. I thought it was a very interesting for all 3 of them to walk in. So it was kind of like jumping in, okay, she's going to be in a 6-women tag match. But obvious question, who will be her tag partners? Well, the first person who showed up is none other than Passion Nanane Takahashi, who has teamed up with Kairi for a long time, even before she left for WWE, and of course recently. But now, who is the next tag partner? And to the surprising, it was Mayu Iwatani. Now, it's no secret those two had their, you know, back and forth as opponents, but they're also dear friends. So it's now been settled that this is going to be a 6-woman tag team match taking place in Nagoya on the 9th of October. So basically, she'll be done by early October, and then she'll be in her indefinite hiatus. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, this is a very interesting one. We have Hina and Rina, the sisters, teaming up. Now, this is I don't know if they ever teamed up prior after they were splitting up, but it was kind of interesting. Keep in mind, Rina is the current future of Stardom champion, but their opponents is Mai Sakurai and Mirai. Now, you probably ask yourselves, why would these two were teamed up? Now, let me give you a brief history about them. Mirai was the newest member of DDM early of 2022, but Mai Sakurai a month later after Mirai joined DDM after leaving Cosmic Angels. But they build up a bondable friendship between these two. But when Mirai made the choice to leave DDM to join God's Eye, it really hurt Mai Sakurai, and of course, she was devastated that she decided to leave. And over time, Mai Sakurai have always said that she was going to surpass her, because we have seen how good Mirai has been in the ring, like her ability, what she can do. However, of course, recently Mirai defeated Mai Sakurai in the finals of the Cinderella tournament. So I thought it was a pretty interesting match, seeing these two work together. However, to my surprise, I'll skip to the end how this ends. Mirai put Hina in the Miramar, forcing her to tap out. But to my surprise, Mai Sakurai just picked up a new trick, and this trick is well known in the Japanese wrestling scene. You've seen, of course, Saki Akai do it. You've seen Sanada do it. However, there is one man who created this submission move, and that is the Paradise Lock by Milano Collection TA. It turns out that Mai Sakurai learned this submission by Milano himself. So that was pretty interesting to see. Of course, Milano said that he was very helpful to teach her this. But she uses it to have people sit down. She used it when she puts them in the sit. However, there was a bit of a promo now that she even asked Mirai would she like to be her tag team partner in Tag League, which was unusual because if you guys are God's Eye fans, you guys know for a fact that Mirai always teams with Ami Sourei. But now this is going to be interesting. You have two different people from two different units teaming up. But where does this lead with Ami Sourei? Well, I don't know, but we'll find out. Now, our next match, we have a pair of Momos in the same team. Momo Kogo and Momo Watanabe. I don't know. It was kind of weird. I don't know why would people vote this. But this team, well, everybody kind of figured this was going to happen because they considered themselves as the future aces. We're talking about Mariah May and Hanan. But interesting enough, Hanan decided to dress up like Mariah May, while Mariah May dressed up as Hanan. I thought it was very interesting to see these two team up. However, this match, on the other hand, ended in no disqualification when Momo Watanabe used her bat on everybody, including Momo Kogo. That was very interesting. I think she must have thought teaming with Momo Kogo in this whole Dream Tag Festival is a load of horse crap, in her honest opinion. I mean, I don't know what she said, but that's what I honestly believe she thinks of it. But here's the interesting part that took place right after, during the post-match comments. It appears that now Mina Shirakawa is trying to sucker in Hanan to join Club Venus. Now, the reasons I see saying this is because they're trying to expand more. Keep in mind, Zaya Brookside is stateside, so is Jesse. Xena is currently stateside as well. Is currently back in her home country of Australia. So it's just Mariah May, Mina Shirakawa, and Waka Tsukiyama as the only three members. But it was Mina and Mariah May as the core members remaining. So I don't know what's gonna happen until then. But I'm sure Mina will love to have Hanan in the team for one particular reasons. It was Hanan who was her, of course, her first opponent when she first arrived in Stardom back in 2020. This is the day before she had her match with Tam Nakano when they became tag members since then. But yeah, we'll see how this storyline between those with them progresses. Now, our next match we have Ruka and Nanane Takahashi. Interesting enough, these two have fought each other many times. Now, Nanane Takahashi has a move known as the Freezer Bomb, and of course, Ruka calls hers just the Freezer Bomb. However, Ruka has a dislike of Nanane, calling her an old hag and all that sort of thing, because she feels like this is a young woman's game. However, their opponents is a very unusual team. We have Azuki and Natsuko Tora. However, you may ask yourselves, why was this team assembled? Now, Natsuko Tora knows perfectly well that Azuki used to be a member of Oedo Tai until she left the promotion back in 2019. Basically, they haven't forgotten about how things were done, but however, Azuki carved off her own path, and I say they work well together. I have to say, this match was pretty good. I think it was a very interesting one, even though it's like Natsuko Tora's like, okay, I don't like the idea of Azuki being my partner, but I will get through it. And you can tell that there's still a lot of fight taking place, but in the end, it was Natsuko Tora who picked up the win. Natsuko Tora and Azuki that pick up the win thanks to Azuki with the senton bomb on Ruka. 1, 2, 3 was over. However, I don't think we will ever see these two team up again, according to Natsuko Tora's comments. That's her honest opinion, how she feels. She doesn't believe that they will ever team up again. Now, our next match, I have to say this was a pretty awesome match. We have Maika and Utami Ishida. Now, reasons behind these two teaming up. These two have went back and forth many times. The times they have is when, of course, Utami Ishida at the time was the red belt champion, and Maika has preceded her, but no luck. They're like somewhat similar in some capacity. But their opponents, on the other hand, their history goes way back to their Ice Ribbon days. We're talking about Zuzu Suzuki and Julia. Now, if you know the history about those two, let me recap a little bit about their history. Suzuki and Julia were roommates, but they were like sisters, best friends, that sort of thing. Now, Julia never told Suzuki the truth, what she was planning to do. She made her own choice to leave Ice Ribbon to go to Stardom, but she was still under contract with Ice Ribbon. But in the result of her leaving, she caused a pain to Suzuki by not just leaving her alone. Basically, Zuzu was dealing with some other things. People were accusing her, thinking that she knew exactly what was going on. Like, that she knew Julia was going to do this. Zuzu didn't know anything, and of course, we know what happened in 2021. Zuzu, along with members of prominence, left Ice Ribbon. They formed their own shows. They've been showing up in Stardom much of 2022. Julia was avoiding the fight Zuzu until they made it to the semifinals of the Blue Stars in the 5-star Grand Prix last year, and that kind of sets it in. But of course, earlier this year, Julia and Zuzu did face off, but Julia walked out as the winner. But Julia always envisioned that Zuzu would be by her side, like joining DDM, but Zuzu has no intentions of joining her unit. She feels like, I want to carve my own path out of my own merit. I mean, she feels that what Julia did, leaving the way she did, there's no forgiveness over that. But she wants to do things the right way, where she earns her way to get to the top. That's how she would picture it. And the match was utterly incredible. I have to say, it was pretty good. I loved it. But however, the match ended in a 20-minute time limit draw. So of course, this history, but Micah did a little promo and all this and that, and then out of nowhere, Risa Sera and Kurumi Hagide attacked Zuzu and Julia, and of course, Kuragi actually uh, kind of tombstone Zuzu right from there. But Micah saw what was happening. She just showed up and attacked. But it appears that Risa Sera is not happy with Zuzu. Now, as you know, since Zuzu left prominence, Julia said that there's no reason for her to protect Zuzu anymore. She feels like it's Julia's responsibility. But, however, because of this attack, it was now announced by Risa Sera and Kuragi that they're both going to be participating in Tag League. But what does this mean? I think Zuzu's a bit worried. Like, why now? Like, why did they attack them? Julia, I don't think she's happy that you attacked her after everything you did for her. I think they're all in shock that they would do this to Zuzu. But I know Risa Sera may have some reasons, but we'll find out soon enough. Now, our main event is a very interesting one. We have Starlight Kid and Azumi. Now, these two ladies go way back, all the way to 2017 when they first joined Stardom. They were part of the same class together. Starlight Kid likes to call this, they are the eternal foes. Basically, they have always been good for what they do. During the time, Starlight Kid was considered by Rossy Ogawa the most popular wrestler in Stardom in that very same age range between them. Of course, Rossi did admit it that he never would consider that Azumi will be popular as her, but look how things are going with her now. But they've always been oil and water, fire and ice in some capacity, yin and yang in that type of way. So teaming them, that was going to be good because you got two of the best high speedsters ever. But their opponents, bit of a different history. Saki Kashima and Mayu Iwatani. Now, if you know their history as well, I'll explain it too. Saki Kashima was a member of Stars when she made her return after many years. However, in 2020, Saki Kashima betrayed Mayu Iwatani during a match, Joan Oedo Tai. So this was a very interesting match, but the obvious thing is, can they coexist? But there was a moment where, of course, Kashima left Mayu all alone, but in the result, I can give you this complete. It was Azumi that pinned Kashima in the match, winning it. So I'm sure Mayu's not happy with the loss, but I think she may feel satisfaction that at least it was you, but not me. But also, rule of thumb, Azumi may have an opportunity to challenge for the high speed belt since she pinned Saki Kashima. I hope you guys like what I did because I feel like the reasons of these tags were formed holds a very significance. If you don't understand how this whole stories with the tag team is, well, lucky for you, I'm the one who's sharing it and telling it for all of you to understand how this whole came about. So I think that's pretty much it for Stardom. So let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We continue with more of Road of Destruction as we head to Kobe on the 24th of this month of September. Now, this is just recently, this is day 3 right now, so let's move on with everything else. Our first match is an 8-man tag match. We have Oscar Lobe, Yuto Nakashima, Tomoaki Hamna, and Satoshi Kojima taking on Yado, Tiger Mask, Togi Makabe, and Hiroshi Tenzan. Now, not much of a big deal about this match, but however, I knew that some parts of this match, X Factors is being Lobe and Nakajima since they are the young lions. So basically, they will be the targets because they are the least experienced wrestlers, even though they're still on a learning curve. But it was, of course, Togi Makabe with a King Kong leg drop onto Nakajima to pick up the win. Next up, we have Rusuke Taguchi taking on Bebop Tag Team, consistent of Toru Yano and his tag team partner, the Ace, Tanahashi. Now, as you probably know, these two have teamed up many times before, even in World Tag League. I hope they do team up in Tag League. I want to see them again. But this was a very interesting one because, of course, both of them are heavyweight wrestlers, while their opponents, Io and Taguchi, are junior heavyweights. You probably would have assumed that there was going to be some interesting factors. I mean, Taguchi, he likes to have a little bit of fun. Yano is the bit of a trickster. However, if Kevin Kelly was there, we would have saw this. Oh, my monitor just went out. Yep, Yano did it again. Low blowed his opponents and then rolled up Taguchi. 1, 2, 3. It's over. And of course, both Tanahashi and Yano just did the Yano's things like. So they got away with it. I just love them. They're just too awesome to watch. Now, next up, we have TMDK in full force. Well, except for Eagles and Ichiban Sweet Boy himself. We have Bad Dude Tito, Shane Haste, Mikey Nichols, and the frontman, Zack Sabre Jr. taking on the members of Chaos, Tomohiro Ishii, Kaguchika Okada, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto. Now, the significance of this match is because, as you know, TMDK members Haste and Nichols are now in line to challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles that are currently held with Bushimon, consistent of Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. So they will meet each other in Kobe. So this is much of a preview. But the obvious question, who will be upping the ante on this one? However, in the end, it was Zack Sabre Jr. that picked up the win against Ishii. These guys have clashed over many times over. I just lost count. When was the last time? But of course, this was a direct message for Nichols and Hayes to tell Yoshihashi and Goto, those tag titles are coming home with us. But we'll see when we get to the 24th in Kobe. Next up, we have the United Empire, Hanare, Great-O-Khan, Jeff Cobb versus LIJ's Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Naito. Now, the significance of the story, recently there's been some sort of rivalry between Shingo and Great-O-Khan. Now, I don't know what that is, but we do know about Naito and Cobb. Cobb wants Naito to put the contract for his Wrestle Kingdom main event opportunity on the line because he's telling him, I beat you in the G1, so I earned the right to face that. But of course, Naito, he will not give it up for a fight. But in the end of this match, it was Hanare who picked up the win with a full Nelson lock onto Bushi to pick up the win. However, during the post-match comments, something interesting that developed. It appears that Shingo is trying to say that LIJ is no longer the same as it used to be since Sonata left. Now, they are hanging on. I mean, right now, the biggest thing that LIJ has is Yota Tsuji. So Shingo is telling him, leave LIJ, join us. We are the real deal. But I don't know. I know Shingo would not betray his closest friend like Naito. So he's always been good friends with Naito. I don't know. We'll see how the storyline fits. Now, as I speak about these two teams, more members of LIJ and United Empire clash again. We have Hiromu Takahashi, our current IWGP Heavyweight Champion, teaming with Yota Tsuji, taking on Will Ospreay and Cal Newman of the United Empire. You probably thought this was going to be a very interesting match. However, keep in mind, Yota Tsuji did issue a challenge to Will Ospreay for the IWGP UK title in order to make his the thing. But of course, it was what's his name, Hiromu, who picked up the win with the time bomb on Newman Calhoun. But Yota Tsuji, he has his reasons. He thinks that you keep bragging yourself that you're great, but he's sick and tired of hearing that from Will Ospreay. So he's gonna try to take his shot and spot. That's what I think he's gonna do. Now, I think our next match we have. Oh yeah. We have the House of Torture, all four members, Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi and Show and Evil. Yes, Show and Evil still have the KOPW title and the IWGP World, declaring themselves as the champions. We know that the history book's saying it's Sonata and, of course, Taichi. However, just five guys are a one man down. So basically, uh, it was supposed to be Kanemaru in this match, but Taka Michinoku was kind enough to step in. Now, you probably can guess this rivalry between Five Guys and House of Torture is going to explode. It probably already has. However, as the usual tricks by House of Torture, Evil took advantage by the exposed corner side and slammed Michinoku into Taka into it, resulting of Evil applying everything is evil, but declaring themselves that they are themselves as the real IWGP World Championship. However, in the backstage comments, Taichi said he's willing to put the title on the line, so he tells them, "You pick the stipulation what it is, and I'll come up with the rules. You name any time, anywhere." I wouldn't be surprised if that match will take place in Kobe on the 24th. We'll just wait and see what show will say. Now, our next match is the best of 7 series between, of course, Narita and Shota Umino in every aspect. Now, of course, strong style, Despi, Suzuki, and Narita were in one side, but on the other, with Shota, we have Master Wato and Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata. Now, Nagata and Suzuki have always danced with each other many times. I have to say it was the most brutal match you ever suspected, but there was no winner, but it became a time limit draw after 30 minutes. So I'm sure here the fans will not like that, but it is what it is. So I have to say we'll see what happens in the next match in the best of 7 series. So we'll see about that. I think that's pretty much it right now with New Japan. I have noticed now that I took too long with the Stardom one. But right now, let's move on with some news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news updates where we keep up what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So this is what we have for everybody. Sports Illustrator did an interview with Bryan Danielson, and apparently it's been told that he will be stepping away from wrestling next year full time. Now, there was also talk about maybe working behind the scenes, like maybe a producer or whatever. If you guys are aware of this or not, it was Bryan Danielson who produced Friday Night Champions when AEW were here in my hometown in San Diego. So, I did say this before. I say that when I attended AEW, watching both Dynamite and Rampage, I felt Dynamite might have been a solid wrestling show, but seeing Rampage for that, I felt that was an awesome show, and I think Bryan Danielson could be an excellent producer and all that. So we'll see how this one plays out when we set. So right now, let's just enjoy the time we have with Bryan Danielson before he steps away. Now, as I said before, for this channel, those who are unfamiliar with promotions that you may not think exist in whatever country, this promotion based out of Spain called RCW, they've been throwing these big shows called the World Cup. And right now, the World Cup has returned. They'll be holding another show in Barcelona on the 21st of October. Now, they announced the first entrant to be involved. Becca will be in it. Last year, I remember Mayuhiki was in it. Miyu Yamashita was there, but in a non-tournament match. Moving on. If you guys have been aware, I talked about this promotion that will be launching in October on the 22nd. Kitsune Women's Wrestling, where they're going to have a lot of the Joshi wrestlers participating. Now, there's been talk about maybe having Joshi legend Manami Toyota. Now, it's very extremely difficult to have legends like them. However, Kitsune's been teasing about this the entire day, and looks like it's gonna happen. We'll probably may see Maname Toyota come to the States, and I'm sure if you're a big time Joshi fan, you probably would enjoy it too. Now, women's promotion out of the UK, Eve has announced the return of their tournament called She Won. This will start on. It will be taking place on the 8th of October. Those who are familiarized will see. Let me explain what this one is. There is one out of 16 women will win 4 matches in one day to be the ace and main event a title match at their choosing at Wrestle Queendom 6. So basically, we'll see that. But apparently, they announced their first entrant, and that is none other than Joshi wrestler, the Crystal Snow, Maya Yuhiki will be involved. However, Yuhiki's name has popped up again, but this time she'll be coming back to the States. Spark Yoshi Puroresu of America has announced Maya Yuhiki will be in action on October 14th for the Rising Heat East in Orlando. So basically, she'll be staying in the States for a while, be coming to the States after her trip to the UK. So we'll see where it's going to go. Now, finally, Scott Edwards, as you guys know, if you're unfamiliarized with him, he works with Fightful Select, Voices Wrestling. He's been keeping up what's been going on in the Yoshi wrestling scene for a while, but he actually gave up some insight about 2 things. The first one, we have the Nagoya Golden Fight on the October 9th. Here's what the card is going to be like. This will take place 1 week after the 5-star Grand Prix, so this is what he particularly put out. The World of Stardom, the red belt, Tam Nakano defends it against Natsuko Tora. The white belt is defended. Mirai will defend the title against Momo Watanabe. That's kind of interesting. Of course, the Goddesses of Stardom tag titles will be defended. Sayuri Onoi and Natsupoi will defend the titles against Queen's Quest members Utami Ishida and Azumi. And of course, the Artist belts will be defended. Body Bomber from DDM. They face against Maika, Suzuki, and Megan Bain. Even Julia cannot believe that it's happening, but it's going to be fun. The high-speed title is on the line. Saki Kashima defends the title against Mei Sita. And then, of course, we have that final match with Stardom with Kairi. That's going to be awesome. If you guys remember, I mentioned Kairi will team up with Mayu Iwatani and Nanane Takahashi. They'll take on Azuki, Koguma, and Saya Ida. And then finally, we have the UWF rules match. We have Sudi taking on Mina Shirakawa. Now, he also reported the lineup for this year's tag league that Stardom will be holding. Now, here's who we have for the Red Goddesses block. We have Julia and Tekla, Azuki and Koguma. No surprise there. This one, I think many of you are going to like this one. And I will say, thank you, Sudi and Kashima. Yes. I love it. Utami Ishida and Lady C. Very unusual, but, well, keep in mind, Utami normally would team up with Kamitani, but she's out due to the injury she had. But Lady C, I say she'll learn a lot from Utami. Risa Sera and Kurumi Hiragi, of course, they already announced that they'll be in it. Mina Shirakawa and Waka Tsukiyama, very interesting. Natsuko Tora and Starlight Kid, I wonder why. Suzuki and Mei Sita, I'm happy with this team as well. So basically, I have to say it was no surprise Julie and Tekla will team up again, either with Suzuki and Kokuma, and of course Suzuki and Sita. I have to say I kind of figured, but I was hoping Kashima and Sudi. I'm gonna say this now. My vote is gonna be on Sudi and Saki Kashima winning it. Right now, they're my number 1 pick. I'll see who I think will be capable of. Now let's move on to the Blue Goddesses, the other team. We have Maika teaming up with Megan Bain. That's interesting. Mayo Iwatani and Hanan. Also interesting as well. Saya Ida and Hanako. Interesting. This one has already been said. Mirai and Mai Sakurai, which is interesting. And then we have Tam Nakano and Natsupoi, known as Meltier. Kind of weird, but I'm starting to consider the possibilities. What if Inoue and what's her name and Natsupoi drop the belts? That's obvious. That could happen, but we'll see. Azumi and Mayu Masaki, no surprise there. They all known as O2 Line. Momo Watanabe and Ruka. Interesting. And here's another interesting one. As I said before, what would happen with Ami Suri now that Mirai will be teaming up with Mai Sakurai? Well, it turns out she'll be teaming up with Yuna Mizumori. Kind of interesting to see that. I mean, look, I'm not surprised about Mirai and Mai Sakurai. Tam Nakano and the Super well, it's no surprise to me, but I'm not sure if there is to talk about dropping the belts because I don't know what kind of offer Saudi Inoue has been placed to come to Stardom. That's something we don't know. But I have to say, but I think if I have to pick anybody from this block, uh, I would say possibly Micah and Mega Bane. I mean, I would think that would be a good choice, but we'll see how that goes. I think that's pretty much it for our news updates, so let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. For our next one, which is going to be for Monday, I haven't decided yet. Now, there is the latest GCW show, Crushed Up. I'm looking forward to that. I yet to see Impact Wrestling Victory Road. Can't think of any other shows yet. But we'll see how that goes from here on out. But at the moment, we'll just leave it as that. I do know that for Tuesday Wrestling, I did find out that they're going to have the next Gleech show on that. They will be uploaded on Tuesday around 4 a.m. in the morning. I'll put that on the Tuesday Wrestling section, but we'll see from there on. I think that's pretty much it for now. But I will say this to end it. I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.